exercise in we put all of the descriptors of the tree up here, and it's very much like Blake. I mean, as many different minds are in this room, we have that many trees in this room.
Is that the tiger?
Just like the tiger, yeah, just like that tiger. So it's the idea, but Stevens is taking it a little farther and showing us the consequences that then what is real? What is reality? Reality then is not the room or the tree itself, but the reality is what is effective for our minds. And I remember the first time I taught this, I tried asking people to tell me what they could see in the room, in the classroom. And I mean, what is something that you see in this room? And then they realized after a while, I'm like, you think you see the wall or a desk, but you're not really seeing the wall itself or the desk itself. Because if you change the light in the room, then it may be a blue desk now, but if you change the light in the room, it'll change the color of the desk. So what you're seeing is the light. But you're not even just seeing the light, you're seeing the light that hits the desk and bounces back and hits your eyes. So what is real? It's hard to explain reality because Wallace Stevens goes so far as to say that the reality is in the mind of the perceiver or the artist. And so, for instance, the anecdote of the jar on page 1904, okay? I placed a jar in Tennessee, and round it was upon a hill. It made the slovenly wilderness surround that hill. The wilderness rose up to it and sprawled around, no longer wild. The jar was round upon the ground and tall and of a port in air. It took dominion everywhere. The jar was gray and bare. It did not give a bird or bush like nothing else in Tennessee. So he's in the wilderness, or she, whoever the speaker is, and put a jar on a hill. And suddenly what was wilderness and had no order to it is ordered. The jar becomes the focal point, and then it's the center. If you move the jar, the center of the place, the location will change, which means that the boundaries will change, right? I mean, and if you think about when you're little, we had the tree, the picture of the tree up on the board, and then we need to actually put a link to the picture of the tree on the webpage so that people can see what we're talking about. But if you think about when you were little, if there was a tree, I don't know, maybe hopefully y'all are still the generation that played outside some when you were little.
I thought our parents made me play outside.
And so you had trees, hopefully, to play around. Okay. Now, let's pretend that you have a tree, that it's like, you've got the trunk and it goes up like this. And like when I was little, there was an apple tree that the branches kind of went down like this. And so it was, so you've got the tree. I know my drawings are always terrible, but
I think you're a great artist.
So, there. This is the tree. There we go.
It's like a willow tree.
Yeah, that's what
Okay. We can pretend it's a willow tree.
It looks like an apple tree.
Well, it was an apple tree when I was little. Yes. I'm trying to draw an apple tree. Here, apples on the apple tree. Oh, wait, I can do better than that. That's right. There, now we've got real apples. Okay. Okay, so we got it. Okay. Now, if you are a 7-year-old girl, now this is all clear down here. This is all clear. Hang on, I'm going to do a little bit. Okay, so this is all clear down here, and you can't see out from under the branches, okay? What would that be if you're about 7 years old?
A fort.
It's a fort? Yeah. Nobody can see you under there, right? It was a fort. What else might it have been?
A fortress.
A fortress. If you were 7 and used long words, it was a fortress.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or a tent.
Or a what?
A tent.
A tent.
Sort of thing.
A castle. Yes, it could be a castle, right? It could be your house. it was very often my house.
Yeah.
I was too chicken to climb the tree, so it didn't very often become a fort because
So am I.
although once I got old and I could climb, then it was kind of like, haha, I can throw things at people from here. But anyhow, it's like, yeah, depending on who you are, shh, okay, depending on who you are, the tree could be different things. Who gives it that meaning? The individual gives it that meaning, right? Okay, same sort of thing that if you go out into, let's see, where's the door? There's the door over there. Go outside and there are the picnic tables. It's a kind of a natural setting for picnic tables, right? Because there are the trees out there and everything. Or there's an area that slopes, it could become an amphitheater, right? You could have everybody sitting on the slopey part and somebody could stand down there and sing or talk or whatever. So it depends on where you are and where you put that jar as to what the location is or becomes. And so, I don't know, think about that. And that's what he's, I mean, that's why I said don't worry too much about understanding some of this modern poetry. But he's just saying, I placed a jar in Tennessee and round it was upon a hill and it made the wilderness surround the hill. When the jar is gone, the wilderness doesn't focus on one place. When the jar is there, suddenly it focuses there. It's a cell phone in my class. Oh, okay. The wilderness rose up to it. It sprawled around, no longer wild. The jar was round upon the ground and tall as board in air. So the jar takes dominion. Suddenly this glass jar takes dominion. It rules the forest. Just summed up.